really just his pain tolerance at this point and what he's willing to kind of get through. I don't think there's really a belief that it could lead to future injury. It's just going to be kind of what he wants to go through. And with big men and foot injuries, you do have to be cautious. So we're not going to rush him back and threaten anything long term. But at the same time, if he can play through something, hopefully that will be sooner rather than later. We're in the middle of kind of a little 3-day preparation for the upcoming game, very similar to the one we just did going into Omaha. And today will be a lot of film and a lot of kind of walk through mental stuff. And then tomorrow kind of ramp it up with a much more difficult practice and just kind of meeting with our players and things like that today. So that's a little bit of just an update on where things are at and where we're at. Spend some time obviously going through our game and our team and how we need to get better, and that's going to be a big part of today. The way we play has a lot more to do with us than it does with who we're actually playing and the things that they do. So we need to continue to progress on things internally for ourselves. And New Mexico State, just to get to them, is a very good team. They've come a long way since their first scrimmage against Abilene Christian. That first 12 minutes of the first 8 minutes of the St. Mary's game was pretty impressive, and they can do a lot of really good things. It's a very talented team. 5 of their top 6, very aware of, comfortable with who they are and what they can do. Lofton is a kid I'm starting to learn as much as I can about. He's a terrific talent, and they're good. They're very balanced, and if you research kind of Coach Jans's Bowling Green team, it was also a very balanced team. They're good offensively. They're good defensively. They rebound the ball. And it's a very potent lineup with obviously a tremendous coach and a good program. So we're looking forward to going on the road, playing our first road game against a very talented team. And it'll be an exciting venue, I think, to play in.
Coach, you knew this day was coming on the calendar, going back down to Las Cruces. What are you expecting? How do you, as the coach,
Sure.
returning to that spot, prepare for that?
I've been asked a lot of questions, both the first time I became a head coach, this time now I'm a head coach. A lot of people ask me about, like, what's it like to be your first game, or how's it like to do this? And it's not just me being a convenient way to get out of it. I really don't think about those things. I'm a pretty process-driven person as far as like what we need to do every day to make our program the best it can be. And me spending time thinking about what was going to go on in this game really doesn't help me in any way. And I'm really going to hopefully not think much about it between now and then either. I'm well aware there's a lot of emotion involved. It was an amazing 10 years for me there. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't look back on it and think anything negative in any way towards anybody. No matter what anybody tells me, that's still not going to change that. And I've received things, and people on our staff have received things. A lot of people have received a lot of messages. It's tempting to respond to at times, particularly when some things are very inaccurate. But at the same time, my job is the one I have now, and I don't want to ever get away from doing the job I have now. So whenever I kind of drift into maybe things like that, I have to recenter myself and say, you know what, I'm the head coach of the Lobos, and I have to do what's best for the Lobo basketball team. And that's all I'm going to do between now and Friday night. And hopefully Friday night I'll be doing the same thing.
Along those same lines, I know you kind of answered a little bit, but what kind of reception do you think you get? Do you think that, because I know you said you've got some messages.
Sure.
What kind of reception do you think you get?
I don't know the percentages of the information I receive and how that reflects the rest of the population. I still talk to Mario relatively frequently. He hired me. We had a great working relationship together, and hopefully we'll continue to have a great relationship together. I still have a lot of friends there, a lot of people that are still very supportive, and that's great. So whatever the other people that feel another way, like I said, I think some of the stuff maybe they think about me is relatively inaccurate, but I can't control that. My job is to coach this team, and if those people feel that way, then that's the way they choose to feel.
Has the contract situation been resolved, or is that still a matter of who owes who what and who's paying for it and that sort of the buyout type deal? I know that was a question when you were hired. And where does that stand now?
At this point, to me, it's just, from my understanding, it's really between the two sets of attorneys.
When I was asking you that, I was asking you, like, do you think there would be moves or choose? I mean, like that kind
I would assume there were, but I mean, I think any visiting coach would receive that in a game like this. I mean, this rivalry's been going on since 1904. I don't think Paul Weir is even remotely bigger than the Lobos and the Aggies going toe-to-toe. And I think when Craig Neal was in there, he got booed. And I think when Steve Alford was in there, he got booed. And Bliss and anybody else, I think it's an amazing rivalry to be a part of. I'm excited to be a part of the game. Are my boos going to be more intense than maybe some in the past, given what's happened? Possibly so. But that's what's beautiful about this rivalry, and hope it's going to make it a really fun game.
Does it make you nervous going back down there at all? Anyway.
I don't think so. Like I said, I think people have asked me those questions first time I do this game, first time we go to NCAA, whatever it may be. I really don't think like that. My mind is really centered on what we can do as a team. I don't really think about what's in it for me in any way.
What about the people around you? I mean, you have obviously some strong ties to Las Cruces through your wife and people around you. Have they talked to you at all about how hard this is on them?
Sure. Yeah, my wife's still deciding whether to go or not. I think she's a little nervous about some certain things, but I really hope it's a fun game. I hope that the subtitle doesn't become me. I hope it remains on the student athletes, the amazing rivalry that this is, and the Lobos and the Aggies tipping off one more time. You know, I don't want to be the narrative of this game. I'd like it to be two great teams going head-to-head in a very competitive game where hopefully a lot of people will be there. Emotions run high in games like that, and hopefully it sticks to like a healthy game of basketball.
From a routine standpoint, I mean, you're going to be preparing for a game in Las Cruces, and you're not going to be in your house. You're going to be, I don't know, have you thought about those things? I mean, it's going to be your first time in Las Cruces doing a game and not doing that routine.
Yeah, no, I mean, we set up a scrimmage on the road on purpose to go through like a road routine, which we've done. This will be the first time we do a road routine and then follow it up in front of a game, in front of fans and things like that. But I really look forward to it. I hope our team does as well. Like, these are the games you want to be in. You know, we all have gotten into this profession, this journey, this field because we embrace competition, and I'm excited about it. I really look forward to it. I think I hope it's going to be a fun game, and hopefully two good teams going at it.
You have a unique perspective of this rivalry that a lot of people just don't.
Sure.
So what are your thoughts on it? I mean, you spent 10 years down there, and now you're here. What's it like for you?
You know, I tell it to recruits all the time. I think this region of the United States is so cool because whether you go into Arizona or you go to UNLV or you go to New Mexico or you go to New Mexico State, it's basketball, man, you know, and there's few other parts of the United States where it goes that way. There's football regions, there's whatever's going on in different parts of the world. But down here, parts of the U.S., down here in the Southwest, people love basketball. And I think it goes back through so many other schools other than New Mexico or New Mexico State. But it's really cool to be a part of in these two schools, I think. It's been a blessing to have been a part of it for 10 years, and I hope I'm a part of it for 10 more. It's really cool, and I'm looking forward to it.
How do you match up with them X's and O's wise, do you think, of what you've seen so far?
Yeah, like I said, it's a drastically different team from their first scrimmage, you know, against Abilene to that. Watching that St. Mary's game, that first 8 minutes was pretty impressive, and it's a very talented team. Like I said, Lofton's really the only one of their top 6 I'm trying to get caught up on. The rest of them, I know how good they are. I mean, they're talented kids who have won a lot of games. They're very skilled. They can shoot. Harris and Lofton are the only two making threes right now, but those other guys are just as capable. It's a good basketball team, and they have really good speed, quickness. They can defend. They rebound the ball really well. It's going to be a challenge for us, and I'm looking forward to it, but it's a very capable basketball team. That's what we'll find out, you know, and obviously going on the road brings something into that as well. We haven't really gone on the road and done this in front of other fans. And I'm anxious to see how that goes as well. The battle of 6 through 10, and then the battle of taking this and doing it on the road as opposed to being at home.
Eli's the guy that said he worked this offseason to try and get a three-point shot. I think every forward says that every offseason.
Sure.
He has put up 3 this year. Is that something that changes from when you had of Eli and Coach Tim, is he a threat now to stretch it a little more than before?
It's tough to tell. I think when you look at a lot of the numbers with a lot of guys that are shooting it right now, it's tough to tell, but we're going to have to respect it. Coach Jans is a tremendous coach. I'm sure he wouldn't have him shooting them if he didn't think they were good shots for him. I know Jamario's been shooting some as well. So, it's Coach Jans' team, and he's going to coach it as best as he sees fit. And he's a tremendous coach. So, obviously, those guys are shooting it with the intent they're going to go down, and we're going to have to respect it until we think otherwise.
You mentioned Jamario. I know you're doing things different than you were last year. Some similarities, a lot of similarities.
Yep.
You're ratcheting it up a little bit. Is Jamario Jones the kind of guy that you saw Sam Logwood be? Was he the guy in what you were, the model, I guess?
Yeah, I think, last year at New Mexico State, if we didn't have all those injuries, I think it would have been a very similar style of play. Unfortunately, it was a team that just got smashed with injuries, and season-ending ones to a lot of guys that going into the season may not have been immediate difference makers, but just would have supplied the team with the depth that it really needed to play that way. I thought we found a healthy balance with what we had of trying to play up tempo, but also making sure we were giving ourselves the best chance to win. And Jamario Jones was a tremendous junior college player that had a great motor that fit the system perfectly. And I thought he had a really great year at New Mexico State last year, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all those guys. They're great players that meant a lot to me. I still talk to a lot of former players, but the players on the team right now, they're in a different coach and a different field, and it's their time now to do what they're supposed to do.
Denver don't get handled because in one game these guys stepped up.
Yeah.
These guys stepped up. Is it tough to get? I know you know that.
I think it's tough for any team this time of year. It's tough for Omaha. It's tough for Omaha playing New Mexico. Can Troy Simon shoot or not? How good is Chris McNeil? Like, early in the season, as all our teams are forming, I think everyone's really trying to figure out, with such a small sample size, it's relatively difficult. And New Mexico State's really no different than anybody in that way. Obviously, the two guys that are shooting it well right now are Lofton and Harris, but that doesn't mean that other guys aren't capable, and we're going to have to just kind of play that as the game goes on.
What do you think they do that is concerning as far as their strength?
Like I said, they're a balanced team, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for balanced teams. I try and make ourselves a balanced team. But I think if I had to pick a few, it's going to be dribble penetration. They got some guys that can really take people off the bounce, some very gifted players. Endier's really good. Lofton's really good. Harris is really good. I mean, guys that can really break it down. We had some issues with that last night, particularly in the second half, of just keeping guys in front of us. And though there's some talented guys that can get to the paint, and we've got to make sure they're not getting there on really good angles and pressuring our defense. And, I mean, I've seen it firsthand. Chua and Jones are elite offensive rebounders, and we have to make sure we do a good job of keeping them off the glass.
What is your fondest memory of the Pan American Center?
Gosh. I don't know. I haven't really thought much about it. Man, catching me in a really innocent moment here. Probably being named the head coach.
Anything else? I have a question, Coach. I was kind of waiting for everybody else. The lineup. Are you going to be? Have you told your players that you're going to have to work hard? I'm not going to have the same starting lineup every time. It's whoever works the hardest. Is that how you do this, or are you planning on eventually coming up with a set lineup?
Yeah, no, we talk every night as a staff before the following game about what we're thinking about, who's going to play what minutes and what we like as far as matchups and all those kinds of things. And we have those genuine conversations about, is it better to put so-and-so into the starting lineup and take so-and-so out? And hopefully those conversations are going to go on all year. I think the players know that it's an up for grabs kind of thing, and they're going to have to bring it every day, really all the way up until the game. So that's something hopefully we'll keep all year. I really pride ourselves on our depth and our minutes. We spend a lot of time going through who's going to play and our substitution patterns in the game so that we can stay fresh and utilize our depth. And hopefully we'll be able to continue to do that this season.
You like place you spent 10 years. Do you think you're going to have any emotions that come up? Or, because you don't know what to expect.
No, I don't expect to. Like I said, I'm not really that kind of a guy. I'm not a reflective person. I have a job to do now. I'm going to work my butt off. like I said, it was an amazing 10 years, and I'm not going to try and make light of that. I really enjoyed it, but I have a new place now, a new place I'm working, and I'm trying to do what I can to make Lobo basketball the best it can be. I haven't talked to Marv, no. I think he's got a game tonight, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't talked to Marv. I probably need to call him, though, see how he's doing.
Jackson and McNeil together on the floor, are they similar?
Yeah, I mean, the three guys that will play point guard for us are McNeil, Jackson, and Mathis. And Mathis is new to it, and Jackson is new to it. So, we're trying to find the healthy balance of what do we need right now, what's better for us by the time we get to March, and how can we navigate through that process. So there are times I think we need McNeil and Jackson to play together because they do some things for us, but there's some times we need to develop Jackson as a point guard, and just for our own balance of a roster standpoint, we need to develop Mathis as well. So we let Mathis kind of finish the game a little bit as a point guard as well. So those three, we're constantly trying to get as many reps there as we can, but I never want it to hinder our ability to win a game. So it's a balance we're going to continue to juggle with throughout the year.
They're averaging under 70 possessions a game, so I know that plays into their turnovers, but under 10 turnovers a game. I haven't looked up their turnover rate. Is this a team that you can turn over?
Harris, I think, is 10 assists to 2 turnovers right now in their 2 games that have stats. They're good, and they have very good guard play that is probably different than BYU's kind of guard play. So it's going to be a challenge for our press to contain them and make sure they don't break loose. What they end up doing at the back of the press is really going to be up to them. I can't control that. A lot of people thought we were trying to run up the Northern New Mexico game, but when they broke the press, they were choosing to take quick shots, which sped up the game. BYU didn't do that. BYU broke the press, brought it back out, got into offense. What you decide to do at the back of the press is really up to you, and I don't know what they're going to do at the back of it.
I know you have a goal of 22 turnovers a game. Are you reliant on that number, though? I mean, do you have to turn a team over?
We put 20 turnovers because that will put us at number 1 in the country. If you look at last year, I think West Virginia was at like 19.5 or 20.5. So we came up with 20 just because we knew that would put us right around number 1 in the country. That was a goal that we just kind of made at the beginning of the season.
You feel you're set up in a way that you have to get the if you don't get the turnovers, but you are speeding them up and doing that kind of thing, are you reliant on getting to a certain number of turnovers to actually be successful, or can you not turn a team over and still be successful?
I mean, I hope, and we're going to watch some film on it today, we're turning over just as many people. I mean, we took 9 charges, so we're trying to take just as many turnovers at the end of it as we do at the front of it. The front of it's what everybody sees, but the back of it sometimes is where the fatigue sets in and they give you something easy. And if it's 9 charges, whatever it happens to be, we want to be able to get turnovers in every phase of it, not just the front of the press.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.